Welcome to 7 Trumpets Prepper, and in this video today we're going to show you some options for some simple and affordable ways to get you started with some food and water preps.
Okay, when you're stocking your food, something to consider is most people stock cans. Now with cans you're going to get about a 2 to 3 year shelf life, and one way to tell what the expiration date is on them, on the bottom or on the top, they'll have it stamped on there to tell you when it expires and all that. That's just something to consider. Also moisture, anything like that can cause your cans to rust. So you need to be careful with that. Another option people tend to use is they'll go to mason jar canning. And this is good. You can see what you've got in there. The only problem with it is, again, 2 to 3 years max, because light getting into it, because it's a clear container, it's going to start that breakdown process and you're going to lose the good quality nutrients, and then it's just going to go bad. Something else people like to use is MREs. Now the thing about MREs is you can take one whole MRE. They come in a large pouch and it's got a full meal. This right here is kind of your main entree, if you will. They come with small snacks, a few other things you can put with it to make a full course meal. And you can see it's got the nutrition facts on here. Now these have a lot of calories, a lot of sodium, fat. If you have cholesterol issues, that's something you might want to consider looking into whenever you get these. This right here has 320 calories. Your sodium, you've got 1,020 milligrams of sodium just in this. There are vegetarian MREs. They do make those. I'm not a vegetarian, couldn't tell you that much about them. I avoid those. But you can get nutritional value out of pretty much any portion of an MRE. And what it's designed to do is one MRE is designed to sustain you for a full day and give you that 2,000 calories. If you're not in strenuous conditions.
One more note to make about putting food in jars and pressure sealing it is we're going to try to get a guest on the show in the future to show how to vacuum seal, because where you might only get 2 to 3 years in a pressure sealed canned jar, the vacuum sealing process could exponentially increase the lifespan of the food that you put in there, and that way you can go straight to the store, purchase your goods, come home and get a longer lifespan out of it than if you would have just stored it regularly. But for right now, we're just going to stick with the simple stuff. Same situation with the dehydrated food. We'll make another video covering that, because we want to just take you in this video straight from the store to home to the shelf. In the previous video we've done in the past, another option is the bottling food. Beans is one option. Rice, as we showed in the previous video before, and oatmeal. These are some things that you can pick up at the store, come straight home and put them away. Make sure to put your oxygen absorber in the top of that. Anybody that has a large household, large family, you're going to have plenty of 2 liters stocked up probably. So when you run them out, clean them and save them, because that is some quick on the shelf preps. This could go in your bug out bag right here. Oatmeal doesn't weigh much and it can last quite a long time, and that is one option you can definitely grab very quickly. Now, moving ahead, water. You know, a lot of people put bottled water like this away. Now this will only last you, according to the expiration date on it, about 2 years. Personally, I wouldn't give it but a year. Now, talking with people that are water professionals, that means they do this day to day. That's not me talking. This is me consulting with people that work in that field and line of work. Their opinion that I've been given is these commercial bottled refills for the commercial pull tap water dispensers. These right here can last you up to like 6 to 7 years. I mean, that is a long lifespan for storing water. And you know, I'm going to cover the trumpets here in just a minute, how it affects your food storage. But this right here is probably one of the best options I've seen for stored water, because you can go straight to the store, and most places, depending on where it's at, you can get these for this particular one was $5 for 5 gallons. So that's $1 per gallon of clean spring water. So you can't beat that. And now we're going to go back to Brian and let him give you some information as far as community prepping.
Now when you're prepping, something to remember is the decisions you make about prepping. The way you prep is as versatile as the way you live your life. It's just up to you how you decide to do it. Now, but I would like to say that when you're stocking all this up, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And by that it means don't have everything that you're going to rely on in the end to be in one place, because then you're subject to failure. If a disaster happens, say your house goes down in a blaze, if that's where your bug out location is and your storage is attached to your house, it may go down and you lose everything. So it's important that you maybe outreach to people you know you can trust in your community, have a well-rounded foundation of people that would all work together. And if each person is stocking their own supplies, then when that time comes and everyone goes to one location, everyone brings those supplies with them. And that way, if something happens to you or your supplies, or to them and their supplies, everyone can rely on each other to get them through the time.
Two last notes that I want to make on this video with you is that, number one, putting food on your shelf is not hoarding. Although it's a broad thought of mainstream media and people in government nowadays that if you put more food on your shelf than 3 days worth, it's hoarding. It's really not. To me personally, I consider it a tithe. As the years went by, as I went to church and attended, I noticed when I put my offering in the plate that I just didn't really feel like it went to where I would like to see it go to help the orphan, help the widow, help those in need, clothe those that needed clothing. I just didn't see it go to that at times, rather to building the building bigger or nicer, and that just didn't fit me well. And I got to thinking about it, and not only when it come to prepping, but putting extra food on the shelf not only can help me later down the road save some of my local community, but in the meantime, when it gets close to expiring, not only do I do it, but the rest of the people in our prep group that do this together, is whenever we get close to an expiration date, say like this can here, when I find that it's about a month out, I will take it to the local food pantry and give it to them so that they can feed somebody in need. Because in our economy that we have today and in the world that we live in, more and more people are losing their jobs, more and more people are going hungry. And that's a great opportunity to you to take control of your tithe and help someone with it. You don't even have to take the food and put it on your shelf. When you're prepping, grab an extra can, put it back, hang on until you get a couple bags and take it to your food pantry. Now that's some real tithing. That kind of goes into scripture a lot right there. Now, second point I want to make to you is as the trumpets begin to sound, the very first trumpets that begin to sound is going to be very detrimental to food. When the earthquake takes place, that's going to disrupt transportation all over the world. Then, as the first trumpet sounds, it's going to burn up a third of the trees and the green grass in the world. That is going to destroy tons and tons of food production. Not only is the food making ability taken away, but there's going to be a great gap in between whenever that can be restarted. From an agricultural standpoint and from being a farmer, once you've lost a crop season, it's the entire next season for me to get started back because of where we're located in the world. Now, when the second trumpet happens and a third of the ships are destroyed because of the great wave caused by the asteroid falling into the ocean, and not only contaminating a third of the seawater, that's contaminating a third of the fish in the sea and destroying them where you can't eat it. And then the ships that move the food amongst the continents is going to be destroyed, a third of them. That is going to greatly decrease the ability to get food to and fro from one continent to another. Then, as the third trumpet sounds, a third of our fresh water is contaminated. That is going to affect food production because certain water can't be used because it's contaminated. And then the other water that would need to be used for food production is now needing to be used for drinking water because there is a shortage. And we already have water shortages in the world now. These are some things to consider. If you look at Fukushima as an example, an isolated example on how it affected the nation of Japan, these things will pale in comparison to the great emergencies that will take place with the 7 trumpets. I don't mean to downplay Fukushima at all. It's a horrible thing. But to take that and magnify it 100 times over is only a touch of what will happen with the trumpets. So keep these things in mind as you prep. And as always, make sure to visit worldslastchance.com and watch their 7 Trumpets of Revelation series. And you can download it for free off their website or become a member and find out more how to obtain a free DVD. This is important information that may save your life one day.
So remember, 2 to 3 years, 5 to 7.
And keep these things in mind when you're shopping for food to put on the shelf, because some of these preps may save your life one day. So until we see you again, have a most blessed day in Yahushua's name.